All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out a Market Watch video. That's right. It will be the first Market Watch video for the channel, for my Flesh and Blood channel. I plan on doing these at least once a month, but maybe even twice a month. We'll see how things go, because that's how it is on my other channel. But on my other channel, I do a video every single day, whereas on this channel, I've been doing them like once every 3 days. So we'll see how people feel about this. For me, this is kind of dry content, but a lot of people love the Market Watch stuff, and I totally respect that. And hey, it's easy for me. It's easy content, and it's easy to go over because we're just going over prices and watching stuff fluctuate in the market. So bear with me on this first one, guys. I will be doing a lot of basic, generic, staple style cards in here, but it's got to be something to build off of for the next Market Watch video. I will try to go through this as quickly as possible. I don't want this to drag on for too long. It's just going to be a Market Watch. But also, if there's a card that I miss, I know, you can't cover every card in a Market Watch, right? But if there's a main card that I missed that's been seeing a lot of fluctuation, a lot of movement on the market, please tell me in the comment section below so I can follow it for next time or try to, keep it in my mind for the next time we do a Market Watch. All right, guys, let's dig into it. Let's get straight into this. Let's dig into it. And I will try to timestamp everything, in the general description of the video, so that way it'll come up as chapters so you guys can click around and skip to wherever you want to. And I will try to I will have all relevant links down in the comment section below, but there probably won't be any for this video. It's just a Market Watch, right? All right, let's get into it. So first up is Dyadic Carapace. This thing's at $27. That is not crazy for a legendary rarity in this game. I think you guys know that. And I'll try not to spend too much time on all these. I just want to give like a quick summary of each one. Under $30 for a legendary, I've seen worse. That's all I'm going to say. So this is not bad. If you plan on playing Runeblade and you do not have your Dyadic Carapace yet, this is a card that I would. Okay, I have to really be careful. Let me say this right up front, guys. I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm just giving you guys my insight on these cards. I always want to get that out of the way right up front. I do it on my other channel as well, because I don't want people saying like, wait, you told me to buy this card and now it's like $50 cheaper or something like that. I'm not telling you to buy anything, guys. I'm just giving you my opinion on these cards. So with that in mind, Dyadic Carapace, if you're planning on playing Runeblade, this is an incredible pickup. Excuse me. It did used to be, excuse me, this used to be quite a bit cheaper. It's going to be up to you if you want to wait for it to get down low like that again, or if you want to get it now and it's still at a pretty reasonable price for a legendary item. Okay, or legendary equipment, excuse me. Spellbound Creepers, these have been pretty consistently in between 160 and 130, and 120 for some time now. I have seen them dip down as low as like 105 or 110, I believe. But that's about it. Like, let me see if I go back 3 months. Yeah, it looks like 107 it was at for a while, 108, and it has gotten back up to 120, 125 area. And it goes up 130, you guys know it goes up from there. Not too bad for these. It's a little out of what I would comfortably pay for a card, especially for a single card, even if it is a legendary. But hey, that should put things into perspective, right? This card, Spellbound Creepers, and Dyadic Carapace are the exact same rarity. They're both legendaries. But guess what? This card is like 4 times more expensive, so something to keep your eye on. Grasp of the Arknight, I have it like this just to kind of show I like to try to show the black border and the white border are all multiple different, kinds of the card. It looks like okay, I know this looks like the black border's cheaper at 63, but I think the white border's actually cheaper. Well, no, maybe not. Excuse me. This one, every now and then you'll have a card that's like reversed, right? Where like this one, for example, the black border one is actually cheaper than the white border. That's weird when that happens, right? But it is what it is. But it looks like this card went way up in price. Let me show this at 6 months out. This card was down to about $44 for the black border. But let me show you guys one thing. This is what I was thinking, because I bought the white border about 6 to 8 months ago. And look at this, guys. It was down to like 35 bucks. I think that's when I got it, when it was around 35. Let me go a year out. Yeah, somewhere around here is where when I got mine for around $35. So these have doubled in price. I guess it's for obvious reasons, right? With Rosetta being a set coming out very soon for Runeblades. Yep, it's a legendary, and this is a very powerful piece of equipment. And excuse me, this is the kind of piece here that will probably be able to help take Florian to the next level, because every time you create a rune chant, you're actually creating 2 rune chants. So this is one of those cards where it's like, okay, this is going to be this is going to potentially be very strong for that hero. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, Rattlebones. This is a pretty staple card usually for Runeblades, But who knows? It's kind of hard to say with the new ones, especially Aurora. I feel like Aurora, like, yes, of course she can benefit from any Runeblade, card, but at the same time, she seems very, very different. We'll have to see what happens. I don't want to say too much on that just yet. But she seems very different. But for like Florian might operate similar to how Viserai is, where it's like, okay, we're just going to make a bunch of rune chants, whereas Aurora seems like she's going to be built more around like combat tricks. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think. That's like the first impression I got from it. We'll have to see as more cards get released. But Rattlebones, this is just a very solid, majestic rarity Runeblade action. And yes, it used to be a lot cheaper. You go back 6 months, this thing was down like $5, $6. But $16, it's not like out of control yet, but this is still a very solid card if you plan on playing Runeblade. Swarming Gloomveil, $15 or roughly thereabouts. It's been kind of around there for a while. I feel like notice, okay, this is in 1 year increments right here. It was like up to $14, went down to $6, then went back up to $15, and now it's sitting around $15. This is kind of par for the course for this card. And I have to say this again, don't worry, we're going to talk about more than just Runeblade stuff, don't worry. But Swarming Gloomveil, this is like an absolute staple as far as Runeblade cards go. For those who know, this is basically a 0 for 4, blocks for 3 with Go again, and just incredible, right? Just absolutely incredible. And the art looks amazing. Look at that art, guys. Just incredible. Okay, let's keep going. Arknight Shard. This thing has been dropping in price. Like this thing has been going down and down and down in price. And I hope it does. I hope it keeps doing that, going down in price, because this is a card that I eventually want to be able to trade for, or I would buy it if it gets to a certain point, but not this high. This is a card that I eventually want to own because, of course, I'm a Viserai main. So I do hope this card keeps going down and down and down. And I know I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I know this is a very touchy subject when it comes to the Flesh and Blood community of like the price of cards and stuff like that. And I'm trying to stay as totally neutral as possible with this stuff, guys. But I would love for this card to go down so I can own one, because I refuse to buy or spend over a certain amount. And that's just me. You guys spend your money however you want to. But for someone like me, I don't mind trading up value for this for like, if I trade like 6 or 7 cards worth of value for this and get it, that I'd be fine with. But as is, I hope this thing keeps going down so it gets closer and closer to something I could trade for. Okay, Crown of Dominion. This is just a solid piece, and it kind of went down in price once Dromai LL'd out of the format, because it used to be around like $45, $55. Look at this, up to $62 for the Crown of Dominion, and now it's gone down all the way to $30. I have seen Viserai lists run this, if I'm not mistaken, like messing around with gold coins and stuff like that. I'm not saying they were great, but I have seen Viserai lists messing around with this card. Really cool stuff. $35. I would like for this card to get down to around $30, and then I'd probably snag it. Balance of Justice. Now we're getting to some of the more staple stuff, guys. So that was the Runeblade stuff, and now I've got this next part is just all generic staples to take a look at. Balance of Justice has gone down in price. It was up like $140 for a while there. Let me go out 6 months. Yeah, it did peak into the $150 range, and now it looks like it's kind of flatlined. It's kind of stabilized around $120. This is just one of those cards, right? I mean, destroy this and draw a card, activate it if your opponent drew 2 or more cards this turn. Just awesome with Guardwell. So this is just one of those cards. It's just a staple. It's just incredibly powerful. And it does go up. It looks like there's only 2 that are at $120 at the $120 range, and then from there it's like $130 plus. So yeah, this is just one of those cards. It's a high quality piece. Really good stuff, especially with it being generic, where like anyone can the generic stuff anybody can run. So Crown of Providence, this is another extremely solid staple card. And when I say staple, guys, I am talking about like it's on FabRec. We'll look at that at the very end of the video. They have an entire list of staple cards. I'll just click on it for now, and you can go through this. I will link this in the comment section below. There you go. There's something I can put in the comment section. I will link this in the comment section below for those who are not aware of the site, and it shows you all like these really powerful staple cards. And you don't need to have all of these staple cards, but they are like really. They're good to have eventually, right? I think they're cards you should eventually save up for and get in one way or another. Again, I'm not telling you to buy these cards for any certain amount. I'm just saying it would be nice to have all of these staples at some point, so that way you can switch over to whatever deck you want to that might play them. Okay, so Crown of Providence, like I said, this one's been sitting around $56 for a while now, for about probably about 2 months, because it was all the way up to $85. Interesting. Let me go back 6 months. Yeah, this card has actually dropped steep, like in a very steep way, probably having something to do with the new Balance of Justice. It kind of just takes the place of this card potentially, but not completely. I'm not saying they're the same card. Back off, guys. Calm down. I'm just saying this card, like now that there's another extremely powerful helmet in the format, this card kind of, went a little bit down in value. Not to say it's a bad card. It still has very high value, but hopefully you guys know what I'm saying. Find all Spring Tunic. And by the way, guys, I know I mentioned this in like every video, but if there's ever any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comments section below. I just ask that you be respectful. That's all I'm asking. Let's keep it civil. Let's keep it civil. Okay, so Fine Dolls is right around $100. I mean, there's like 4 different versions on here. There's the white border. There's 3 different black borders. One's from Bright Lights. One's from Crucible of War. One's from Welcome to Wraith. This is a card that has been reprinted 4 times, and all of them are around $100. I don't know how that works personally. Value in this game for cards is very strange to me. I don't get it, because usually when there's like a big reprint, like this one's had 4 reprints, and they're all $100. And I get it. This is an extremely solid card that pops up in like... This card pops up in like every single deck, you know what I mean? At least in the sideboard or something like that. Not every deck, but quite a few. So I get it. It's a very highly used card. But man, how's it been reprinted 4 times, and they're all the same price? Like, you'd expect the white border one to be cheaper. You'd expect the Welcome to Wraith original one to be the most expensive, right? Or actually, hang on. Or is the Crucible of War one? No. Yeah, these should... I don't know. I'm confused. That's all I can say. I don't get it. All right, let's keep going. That card's around the same. Command and Conquer. This is another one where it's just been... This one is so hard to acquire, guys. And this one, see, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, this is a majestic rarity, whereas the Fine Dolls is a legendary rarity. But check this out, guys. This card is almost $100 a pop, but it's only been reprinted twice. And we're not talking about the fabled special rarity one. But like when you look at these were reprinted 4 times, and they're somehow all $100 each. Whereas this one's only reprinted twice, and they're about $15 off. It's just weird. Like I said, it's fun. It's fun for me to like look at stuff like this. It doesn't make any sense in my mind. Only at a very like basic level, I get it, because it's a very it is a rare enough card at Majestic, and it needs to be used in pretty much every single deck. You know what I mean? Or at least you should have access to it in your sideboard for pretty much anything. There might be a few decks that don't run this, of course, but you guys know what I'm saying. Art of War, $30 for the white border. This is one thing I want to say right now. This right here, this is a Majestic, right? This one doesn't have the rarity on it. Let me see something. Yeah, it's a Majestic. So this is like a price point for a Majestic that I would love for the game to take on. And I'm not trying to complain, guys. Please bear with me. I'm just saying, this right here for Majestics is where I would like to see them all go. I would love to see a Majestics around $30, and then Legendaries around, like, peaking out around $50. And that would be a price point that would really help new players, like, be able to justify getting into this game more and more. Because what happens, and when I say getting into it, I mean investing into it and deciding, like, you know what, this game is, like, affordable, and I can get into this and have a good time. And that's still a good amount of, that's still very valuable, right? A $30 card, that holds value, right? It's a $30 card. But when you start getting to the very expensive cards like Command and Conquer, it's just hard for it's hard for players to stomach. And I know a lot of people are like, well, hey, I paid for mine. It's like, yeah, but a lot of people won't pay for theirs, right? And that's where retention levels become very, very hard to manage. Next up is Enlightened Strike. Look at this, man. I'm loving this. $25 for this card. That's how much I got mine for, by the way. I got my Enlightened Strikes for $25 or $27, and I got my Art of Wars for $30 or something like that. That's a very acceptable price in the TCG world. Very, very acceptable. And guys, this is another, these are all Majestic. The Art of War, the Enlightened Strike, and the Command and Conquers, the CNCs. Like, they're all like the same rarity, but somehow the Command and Conquer is just so much more expensive. It's so weird how that works. It makes me feel like something's going on with the market where they specifically set it at that, because Enlightened Strike and Art of War, okay, I will say Enlightened Strike and Command and Conquer are probably some of the most universal cards, but this one costs so much more. It's almost triple the cost, right? It's just strange. Something to study, that's for sure. If you like watching market trends and things like that. The weakest link, this one's sitting at 45 bucks. This was like one of the new really strong cards coming out of Mr. Pandaria, guys. Sorry, World of Warcraft player here. I know. Part the misfail. There we go. This one, it's like I would not dare say it's the new Command and Conquer, but it's like that new same, 2 costs, deal 6, block 3 with a very relevant effect. Really good stuff here. This card is very strong, but it's a little pricey. I want to see this down in the range of Enlightened Strike and Art of War territory. You know what I mean? Same thing with Warmongers. Warmongers Diplomacy, Majestic, Blue. Like, it's cool how, like, okay, you've got 3 red ones now, right? You've got the weakest link, you've got, Enlightened Strike, and then you've got Command and Conquer, these 3 red generic attack actions that are just super powerful. Then you've got the yellow one with Art of War. Now, this is a generic instant, but still. And then, last but not least, you've got Warmonger's Diplomacy, which is a generic action, and it's blue. And they're all these, like, extremely staple, very, very strong cards. And for those, I mentioned this before, if you do not think this card will be staple here soon, guys, going into a Runeblade expansion or whatever, into a Runeblade release, guys, I don't know. I'm just saying, especially for any Viscera players who like to... Now, I will say this. There are certain styles of Runeblade that can get around Warmonger's Diplomacy. Like the Turtle Burst version doesn't really do a whole lot of comboing like that. But for people like me who just love to play good old-fashioned Malvrion Skies into attack action, just boom, 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 just chaining all these attacks together, generating crazy rune chants, Warmonger's Diplomacy says, nah, you're not doing that, buddy. Not doing that. Okay, Hold the Line, just a solid generic defense reaction. This one peaked up to like 35 bucks. Actually, let me see something. If we go further out, yeah, I think it peaked around $30. Excuse me, it peaked around 30 bucks. It is around 20 again, and that's where it was at for a while. Like when this was one of those cards that came out when I started playing in Dusk Till Dawn, because I got into the game right before Dusk Till Dawn. So this came out right when I started playing, and it was super, super cheap at first. It's for anybody who predicted this early on, getting this at this cheap price, well done, well played. But look at this, guys. It dipped. It went up and then down a little bit, and now it has just been going up. $20 went down to 20, or $25 went down to 20, up to $30. Now it's kind of maintained at around 20 bucks. Just another really solid defense reaction. Okay, speaking of wizards from earlier, right? This is going to be a wizard and Runeblade set for Rosetta. This card has gone up quite a bit since the release, just like we saw with Dyadic Carapace. Let me go all the way back to Dyadic Carapace. Look at this. Right around the same time, right around that June 9th to June 11th period where we first got the spoilers. I believe that's when we first got the spoilers for Rosetta, right? Right when that happened, boom, it just popped up, man. Look at the same exact time period for this thing. It went straight up to 25 bucks. And how funny is that? So they were both sitting around 10 to 11 bucks. Look at this, both of them. Well, okay, never mind. Dyadic Carapace was around 15 to 17, but still, this was right around the 15 to 17 mark, and then it blasted straight up to 35, and then the Illuvian Constellas, however you say that, went from 10 up to 25. So, kind of around the same price jump. But yeah, this is one of those legendary wizard equipments. Might be pretty good. We'll have to see what kind of... It's hard to say with this one, and it's hard to say with the Dyadic Carapace. Well, I will say this. Dyadic Carapace is a very, very strong generic Runeblade card, Runeblade equipment. I don't know enough about wizards to tell you if Illuvian Constellus is like that much generic for wizards, but it looks like, okay, it looks from reading it, it has Arcane Barrier, so of course you're going to be able to use it into any Runeblade, so it's probably going to be pretty solid to pick up if you need it. But again, we're going to have to see what comes out. What if a special equipment comes out for the Runeblades that just takes the place of for wizards, that comes out that takes the place of these Illuvian Constellas. Stormstrider sitting around 100 bucks. This was another card that I think kind of jumped. Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, it was never super cheap. That's for sure. It was still around the $50 to $60 range right here. Really around $60 where it's set for a while, and then it just went straight up into the $80 range. And this is for the white border. It looks like the black border is even more expensive. And that's what I expect, by the way. Going back to the Fyendal Spring Tunic and some of these other cards like Grasp of the Arknight, I expect the white borders to be way cheaper and then the black borders to be more expensive. But sometimes it's the other way around. But with this one, the black border is actually the more expensive one. And this one, okay, going back 6 months, this thing has always sat around $70. It looks like it dipped. It looks like, let me go a year out real quick. Yeah, it looks like the lowest it ever dipped was just 65 bucks, somewhere around 65, $70, and it's been up since then. And right now it's sitting at around 130 bucks on average. Okay, next up we got the Traverse the Universe. This one was crazy at first when Zen was just popping off just like absolute crazy. This card was super expensive, sitting around 75, went up to 100, but then then the nerfs happened, right? The bans and restriction type list came out, and then it went straight down. Excuse me. Now Zen is still very strong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's like bad now or anything. It's still, he's still very powerful. But it is nice to see these cards go down in price. I'm just going to be honest, guys. That's me. You guys hear me out, all right? I say the same thing on my other channel. I like when the alt arts are extremely expensive and rare and collectible and good for the market in a game. But like when the base level rarity card is expensive, that's where it starts hurting player retention. You know what I mean? That's where it just starts really hurting everything. And it's like, let's get things at a very affordable range just for the new players to come into the game. Like print versions of the card that are extremely cheap. You know what I mean? Almost proxy level or something. I don't even know how to explain it. But then if you're like a veteran player and you want cards, you want your deck to like maintain value, have cards like this where they're $45, $50, $100, $200, whatever. You know what I mean? For whatever kind of alt art it's running. But anyway, this card, back to what we were saying here, this card, 43 bucks. That's towards the upper end of what I would prefer to buy any card for. So that's up there. Hopefully this keeps going down more and more in price. If it gets down to 30 bucks, I'll probably snag it, no problem. 12 Petal Kasaya. Now this thing went way down. Like we were just saying, like, okay, when what's his name? When Zen was doing crazy good, this was at around 40 bucks. It actually looks like it went down pretty quickly the more I'm looking at this. So this has gone down all the way to $17, which, hey, I love. Look, this one's 14 bucks, guys. I love to see that. This is what I love to see. This is affordable, and this is like a really strong card for Zen. This is solid, right? This is just absolutely solid. You love to see it. Okay, Tiger Stripe Shukos. This thing, okay, let me go back 6 months. This card, like, way back, I'm even going to go back a year, actually. Sorry, guys. This card was, like, chilling around $25 to $30 for a while, and then we saw Part the Mistveil, like, oh, look, a new set, Part the Mistveil is coming out, and these Tiger Stripe Shukos just went straight up to 55 bucks. They've pretty much stayed there. Like, see, they're still around $55. They've always been good. It's not like they were ever bad or anything. It's just when a new hero comes out and it's like, oh, this is perfect for them, of course, then a legendary level card, it's going to go up in price. So really good stuff there. This is a really strong equipment, but I would really like to see this start going down as well. All right, next up is Levels of Enlightenment. Okay, this card has been going down further and further and further. I love to see that. I'd love to get these when they're around 10 bucks because that's what I hope they start to settle at. Because this is a mythic rarity. Or, I always say mythic. I'm sorry, guys. This is a majestic rarity that is pretty much only usable. Well, it is only usable by three heroes. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they are three very strong heroes. But I would like to see this thing go down a good amount in price. Hopefully, it just keeps trending in the downward trajectory. Okay, next up is Mauling Chi. This thing. So since I was following Zen for a while, this card spiked up when Zen was kicking butt, up to like 20 bucks a card. Because this is a promo level card, right? The TCG cards. I don't remember what that stands for, but this was like a promo level rarity, and it shot up all the way to 20 bucks. But now it's going back down, especially since Zen got nerfed, got the restrictions. So $10 for this card, probably not the worst thing in the world. I don't know how much cheaper it's going to get. Look at this, guys. 35 from this guy, 18, 80 from this guy. Okay, from Star City Games. Goodness gracious. It's like they bought out the whole market. I don't know what just happened. But sometimes that happens, guys. That's how the market goes. Someone sees an opportunity. They're like, yeah, I'm just going to buy every one of this card, and I'm going to set it at a different price. They call it scalping. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that was not the case. But whenever I see something with 18 and 80 copies and 35 and 20 copies, it does make me wonder. Yeah, not saying anything's wrong with it. Hey, it's a fair opportunity. Just saying, just pointing something out. Okay, Phantasmal Footsteps, about 100 bucks. This has actually been going down in price, which doesn't make, again, some things don't make sense to me in the market. Like, how are Spellbound Creepers going down in price now that we're about to get some Runeblade actions? And then Phantasmal Footsteps is going down as well when it's like Enigma and what's her name? Prism have been doing very well recently. Like Enigma, maybe not as much, but I know Prism has been doing very well on the scene, and her her number one primary boots, the Phantasmal Footsteps, has been going down in price. It's so odd to me, but hey, I'm not complaining. I want to see it keep going down. Get this thing down to about $5. We'll take it. All right, I'm just kidding. I know it probably won't ever go that low. Miraging Metamorph, this thing has been going up and up and up because this is now being used in Enigma. You know, this is not really a Prism card as much as, I don't know. Actually, I've seen a few Prism lists run like one or two of these, but this is really, you know, quite strong with Phantasmaclasm in Enigma. So this card, not bad, not bad. So it has gone up in price. This is a legend. This is a Majestic. I almost called it a Legendary. Then I almost called it a Mythic. No, it's a Majestic, you know, from quite some time ago. What set was this from? Yeah, this is from Ever something. I can't remember. That was before my time entering the game. But yeah, really good stuff here. $16. Not the worst thing in the world. Again, like this is the price point where I'm like, yeah, this is solid. You know, this is very affordable. Even if you have to run 3 of these, $16 Everfest. It's right in front of my face, guys. I was like, man, I kept wanting to say EverQuest. I'm like, oh no, I can't remember the name of it. I keep wanting to say EverQuest. It's Everfest. Okay, very good. So $16. That is not the worst thing I've ever seen for a very high level Majestic. I'm very happy with price points like this, even though it is more expensive than it used to be. Because if you go back 1 year, I remember trying to get these around $12, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait for this to go down in price. And then it went up and up and up and up. And it just kept it's actually gradually gone up. If you look at this year graph here over time, just more and more and more. Okay, almost done, guys. We got 3 more. Codex of Frailty. This thing is just expensive, man. There's no way around this one. Let me go 1 year out. It looks like the cheapest it ever was around $42, but it's always been hitting around 55. Now it's spiking 60, 70, 60, 70. That's just kind of where it's at right now. And this is a Majestic rarity card that can only be used in Assassins and Rangers. So it's like, man, when a card's this expensive and it can only be used in 2 different classes, excuse me, you know, it seems outrageous at times, right? Like, this seems outrageous, especially if your list is running both Command and Conquers and Codex of Frailty. Well, that's 6 cards, right? Like 3 Codex and 3, what's it called? Command and Conquer CNCs. That's $240 plus $210. That's $450, you know, for 6 cards. It becomes very hard to stomach for a new player, I will say, and for anyone getting into the game. Like, not even necessarily like a new player. So, all right, so Surgical Extraction. This card's kind of always been around the same, but it used to be down like, $6 or $7, but it has spiked up to 25, and it looks like it's going to stay stable at around $20. Again, hey, a Majestic for $20, I'm not complaining at all for that. Like, this is a very acceptable price point. It's just when you start seeing Majestics for $70, $80, $100, you know, that's where it starts getting like, wait, you know, what's going on? Let's see some reprints, man. Let's see these things go down in price. And I know that's like a cuss word in this community because they want cards to like maintain a certain amount of value, but it's like, okay, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Surgical Extraction, and then lastly, we got Valiant Dynamos. This is a card that I really want. It's been dipping down in price quite a bit. Let me go down, or go 6 months. Let me go a year out, actually. Yeah, so it spiked all the way up to 165, and now it's starting to go down slowly but steadily. It's down in the $90 range. You know, really solid card. This card, Valiant Dynamo, this card alone is what made me want to start messing around with Warriors, because that is not my thing in this game. I am a Runeblade. That is my main, you know, shtick, whatever, have you say that. And the same thing with I like Runeblades, I like Ninjas, and I like, excuse me, and I like, gosh, sorry about that, guys, my throat dried out there. And I like Prism, like the Light Illusionist. I like a lot of light, you know, the whole light theme is good for me. But so you'd think like, oh, then you must really like Bolton. And I've mentioned this in a previous video, if not multiple at this point. It's like, no, not really. I just can't really explain it. I just don't like it. But yeah, that's about it. So that's about it, guys, for the market watch. I just want to say one more time, you know, a lot of this stuff you can find on Fabrec. And I know this was not the most informative market watch, but like I said, I want to start at like a ground level, and then we can go from there and build from there. If there's a card you guys want me to start following in particular, I will try to follow that in the future, you know, if it's like a card that, you know, moves quite a bit. But other than that, now that I've got the first one out of the way, I can go from here with probably much more relevant information, if that makes sense. All right, guys, I'm done. A video right at 30 minutes. This is like the shortest video ever for me, so this is good for everybody, right? Really good stuff here. If I missed anything, help me out in the comment section below. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, until next time, peace.